I'm in the fifth grade and I'm hanging out with these guys from both my grade and eighth grade. Now, my school was basically a combination of an elementary school and a middle school. And so the younger kids would see these middle schoolers and some of them would hang out with them. I was a part of that group. I was a part of this group of both fifth and eighth graders who would get together and go biking from one town to the next, to the next, to the next. And admittedly, I wasn't so involved. I wasn't always going with them. I was mostly just like a mutual friend of many of them. They only knew me because I was friends with one of their friends who was in my grade. But that's not so relevant. What's more relevant is the fact that me and this group would go biking sometimes. And on this particular day after school, or on the weekend, I'm not exactly sure which one, me and this group of, I'd say 5 to 10 guys went biking. Just around town, doesn't matter when, or where, I'm sorry. The point is that once we look at the time and it's 6 p.m., since it's winter, it's already pitch black. It's already nighttime. And we decide, you know what? We're not gonna bike anymore. Let's go to Jake's house. Now, Jake isn't his actual name, but Jake was someone who made me deeply uncomfortable. Like I don't know if you've had this experience, but in middle school especially, maybe you had a friend who would touch you weirdly, who would get physical with you. That was basically Jake. And he was, I think, 14, 15 at the time. I'm 12. And I'm looking at how he behaves with his friends, and he's even kind of gotten physical or touchy with me sometimes. And I'm like, dude, whenever I'm around this guy, I have to keep my guard up. Every time that he was around, I would be aware of his presence. And so already the whole trip, I'm kind of making sure I know where he's at. I'm kind of, not like anything weird. I'm not staring at him, but just every now and then, seeing where he's at. When I heard that we were going to go to his house, alarms immediately sounded off in my head. I'm like, I don't want to go to this guy's house, bro. Imagine a woman seeing a creepy guy who makes her uncomfortable and saying, yep, I'm going to go to his house. That was basically what I did. Granted, it's different because I was a guy, I was surrounded by other friends. It wasn't likely that he was going to do anything to me. But even despite what I was feeling, despite not wanting to go and being uncomfortable, really just wanting to go home and play my games, I said, yes, I'll go. And in fact, it was more cowardly than that because I didn't say anything. I just kind of followed them whilst thinking, oh, I don't want to be here. We get into his house and we're watching this Halloween movie. I don't know what it is, but it's some streaming services will have special episodes or special movies to watch on Halloween. And we were watching one of those. And all the while, I'm just thinking, dude, I want to get out of here. I'm feeling tension. I still remember it. That whole time, I just felt uncomfortable. Even though nothing was happening to me, I felt uncomfortable. I decided at some point that, no, I really want to get out of here. I'm not feeling safe. And so I go out the room, pretend to go on my phone. Yeah, Mom? Yeah, I'm on the way right now. Okay, yeah, I love you, bye. Right outside the door, pretending to be on the phone with my mom. I come back in. Oh, guys, my mom just called me. She said that I gotta go. I can't hang out anymore, my bad. And this kid, Jake, actually says, nah, fuck your mom, bro. Stay. And now, if that happened to me now, I'm not we both know that I'm not just walking away from that, right? But in fact, if this happens to me now, where I don't want to go somewhere, I just don't go. If something is making me uncomfortable to the point where I'm like, no, this is not safe. What am I doing there? What am I doing following these guys to a place where I feel unsafe? That makes no sense. So to begin with, this would have been different, but that's not the point. The point is, I say, oh no, man, I respect my mom. I gotta go home. I gotta leave. And so I walk out of his house. It must have been, I don't know, not that much later, like 6:20, 6:30, maybe 7 at most, out in the dark, the rain, and I'm walking home, just hood up. I'm not even biking anymore. I'm literally just like walking slowly, thinking, thank fuck that I got out of that situation. I did not want to be in that house. The reason all this happened was because I obligated myself to other people. I created this false obligation in my head that, oh, these are my friends and I have to follow them. These are my friends and I can't let them think I'm a loser. I can't let them think that I'm some chump that doesn't want to hang out with them. No, I need their approval. I need this. Like, I don't want them to think this or that. I obligated myself to these people's thoughts, to these people's perspective of me, to this friend group, when in reality, that obligation never existed. There are no obligations in this world, none, except to yourself. You are not obligated to any law, to any person, to anything except yourself and your own beliefs. And so we need to learn as people how to free ourselves from obligation, how to free ourselves from these external influences, because many times there are things in life that we don't want to do, things in life that we prefer to pursue instead of this other thing. And yet, because we have this mentality of, oh no, I'm obligated, you go do the thing you don't want to, despite not wanting to. And admittedly, there are some times where you are actually obligated. There are some times where, for example, if you have a kid and you're in survival mode, one day missed of work is unaffordable. Even if you're sick, you have to go. If you're that desperate and if your living situation is that bad, then okay, you're obligated to your job. However, most of us are not in that situation. Most of us obligate ourselves to things simply because we don't want to make people feel bad, simply because we don't want to have people think that we're bad or hateful or a loser or whatever else. We obligate ourselves to hangouts, to parties that we know we shouldn't be going to. We obligate ourselves to people's requests. When your coworker comes in and he asks for a favor that would take up your time, right? That you really can't afford because you're focusing on something or you're trying to get out of work, whatever. Or when your boss is asking you to do overtime, we obligate ourselves to those things, even though we don't have to do them. And so you have to have the ability to fight, to say no, to stand your own ground, not just to people, but to life in general. There's going to be times when your boss asks you for unpaid overtime. I think I gave that example earlier. There's going to be moments in life where parties come up, or sponsorships come up, even if you're like in business or if you're an athlete, right? Sponsorships are going to come up. You're going to have the opportunity to vacation. You're going to have the opportunity to do this and that. You have to be strong enough to not feel obligated to any of those, to not feel like, oh man, but my family wants me to work this job and go to university, so even though I don't want to go to university, I'm gonna go anyway, since that's what my family wants, that's what my parents want. Oh, I didn't want to go to this party, I didn't want to hang out with these guys today, but I don't want them to feel bad, so I'm gonna say yes, and I'm gonna go with them anyway. That is weakness, and that's a horrible way to live. If you want an action step, simply say no at least 1 to 3 times today. Say no when somebody asks you for a favor. And yeah, that's going to be all for this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, like, subscribe, comment. Let me know if you agree, if you disagree. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you.